Hey, you think you're in control of your social media feed? Well, think again. Social media platforms are designed to show you more of what you engage with, but it's not always the full picture. Behind the scenes, algorithms are quietly steering your feed to keep you hooked and often to keep you enraged, whether the content is true or not. There are two different paths that you will follow. Now, before you jump to conclusions, this isn't fiction, and it's not just my opinion. What we're talking about today is backed by science and fact, and I've done a lot of research to keep you informed here. Now, without realizing it, you might be letting algorithms and the people behind them tell you what to think, all while you believe you're in control. In this video, I'm going to break down how these algorithms work, how they push you into echo chambers, and why you might not be as in control of your news and opinions as you even think, even though you don't believe that's true yet. So stick with me. You'll be surprised by how this all plays out. But don't worry, there's hope. You have more control than you think. By understanding how this works and making a few key changes, you can take back your feed, avoid the constant cycle of misinformation and outrage, and keep your sanity in the process. So everything will be okay. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to this channel, give the video a like to help get the word out, and ring that damn notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Now, let me introduce myself. Hey, I'm Steve. If this is your first time here, I'm a grandfather who's been a search and rescue pilot, consumer debt expert, investigative journalist, master researcher, and entrepreneur. For the past 40 plus years, I've rescued good people from bad situations, and I've lived a life full of experiences and insights, and today I'm sharing some of that with you. We're tackling a topic that might just leave you with more questions, but don't worry, I've got you covered. I've done the research so you don't have to, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of what's really shaping your social media feed and how you can take back control. Also, if you want to check the facts or take a deeper dive, I've included a research guide in the video description with all the sources I've pulled together. Ready? Let's go! So let's start with the basics. What exactly is an algorithm? So it's easy to explain if we think about it like this. It's a digital assistant that's supposed to help you out, but instead of being helpful, it's like that one friend who just won't stop suggesting the worst restaurant for dinner. Only this time, it's feeding you exactly what'll keep you scrolling for hours. My God. Every time you like, comment, share, or even hover over a post, that data is tracked. The algorithm uses this information to tailor your feed, showing you more of what it thinks you'll enjoy. And the longer you stay on the platform, the more ads they can serve you. Guess what they're making? Money. But here's the tricky part. These algorithms aren't designed to give you a balanced view. Not at all. They're designed to keep you engaged. And here's the real kicker. They know the quickest way to do that is to get you angry. So why enraged? Well, because anger, frustration, and outrage drive engagement. Studies show that people are far more likely to comment, share, and stay engaged with posts that trigger strong emotional responses. A 2018 MIT study found that false information spreads 6 times faster than the truth on social media because it provokes such strong emotional reactions. Yeah, people are far more likely to click on and share something that makes them angry. So here's the thing. 70% of Americans say they get their news from social media. That's according to the Pew Research Center. But think about this. If your news feed is only showing you stories that make you mad or that echo what you already believe, are you really getting the full picture? We've all been there. 1 second you're checking a friend's status. The next thing you know, You're watching videos of penguins falling over, and it's like midnight already. The algorithm knows exactly how to keep you hooked. And trust me, penguins aren't the worst of it. And just so you know it, it might be very interesting to follow along the comments section of this video. Because if the algorithm is working the way it usually does, we might end up getting some enraged feedback, but at least now you'll understand why. Facebook is often considered one of the most controlling social media platforms. And here's why. It's simply massive. With 2.9 billion active users globally, Facebook controls a massive portion of the digital space, and its algorithm, EdgeRank, is designed to prioritize posts that get the most likes, shares, and comments. What are we going to do? And you can probably guess what kind of posts get the most engagement. Yeah, that's right. Ones that trigger an emotional reaction, especially anger. But it's not just Facebook. There are other niche platforms out there like Truth Social, Parler, and Rumble that already begin as echo chambers. And then these platforms cater to specific political or social groups. So when you join, you're likely stepping into a feed that only reinforces your current views. It's a big echo chamber. These platforms don't just amplify echo chambers, they're designed to be them from the start. Now, you might have noticed that your social media feed starts to look like a reflection of your own thoughts and opinions. The posts you see, the articles that pop up, the conversations you engage with, it all feels like it aligns perfectly with your views. This isn't by accident. The longer you stay in that bubble, the more extreme the content becomes. It's like sitting in a dark room where every wall is a mirror. You think you're looking through the windows at the outside world, but all you're really seeing is your own reflection bouncing back at you from every angle. But echo chambers are just the beginning. What happens when these algorithms push you toward misinformation, even extreme false claims? Hey, we'll cover that in a moment, and trust me, you'll want to see how quickly things can spiral out of control. All right, this next part might make you a little uncomfortable because it might hit close to home, but stick with me. I wanted to use a real-world example. It's important to understand how it works. Imagine you're scrolling through your Facebook and you see a headline that says, "Immigrants in your town are eating cats and dogs." It's shocking, right? You can't help but click on it. The moment you do, the algorithm takes notice. Now it assumes you're interested in immigration, especially stories that trigger strong emotions. And what happens next? Well, now your feed starts filling up with more articles about immigration, many of them just as extreme or sensational, and soon your entire feed is filled with these stories. And you start to think, why isn't everyone alarmed about this? Am I the only one who knows? Oh my gosh. Well, this is how misinformation works. A single click out of curiosity can pull you into a spiral of false or exaggerated content. And the more you engage, the more the algorithm pushes similar content to you. You don't set out to be misled, but the algorithm is working to show you more and more and more of what keeps you clicking, because remember, it's about the money. And maybe you're thinking, this can't be happening to me. I'd know it if I was being manipulated. But would you? Would you really? Especially if you're not actively hunting down more information on a topic. And I've got 2 videos you'll definitely want to check out. I'll link them at the end and in the video description. It's where I show you how to double check you're not being manipulated. Be a leader, not a lemming. Now, let's circle back to why social media platforms want to keep you enraged. It's simple. Outrage drives engagement, and engagement drives profit. Think about the last time you saw a post that made you angry. Did you just scroll past it, or did you comment, share, or even argue with someone? The chances are you've reacted, and that's exactly what the algorithm wants you to do. Studies from the University of Pennsylvania found that posts filled with moral outrage are much more likely to go viral because they trigger strong emotional responses. Anger and outrage make people share content faster and engage in heated discussions, keeping them on the platform longer. And the longer you stay, the more ads you'll see, which means the more profit those platforms make off of you. So it's not just about keeping you informed. Social media platforms are built to keep you hooked. And they've learned that the most effective way to do that is to stir up your emotions, especially anger and outrage. And this isn't just some theory. No, it's backed by firm, hard data. And this isn't just something that stays online. It has real-world serious consequences. I mean, let's take the COVID-19 pandemic. The World Health Organization called it a global infodemic, where misinformation about the virus and vaccines spread just as fast as the virus itself. False claims about the treatments and conspiracy theories about vaccines led some people to delay or avoid getting vaccinated and directly putting their health at risk. It's not unreasonable to wonder how many people died from COVID because misinformation got them so angry and enraged that they avoided vaccines or other sensible health measures. I mean, the news was full of heartbreaking stories, people who claimed the virus was a hoax only to end up in the ICU or worse, dying from the very thing they didn't believe was real. Or consider the 2021 U.S. Capitol riots. Social media played a huge role in spreading false claims about election fraud, and we all saw how that ended in real-world violence. But here's the catch. The majority of people had no clue that there was even a call to arms or rally on that day. Why? Because they weren't being fed that information by the algorithms. Meanwhile, those who were in those echo chambers were getting a heavy dose of outrage, urgency, and a sense of impending conflict. They were essentially being fed content that escalated emotions, pushing some people to believe they were part of something critical or even patriotic. Now, it's a clear example of how social media can create vastly different realities for people, depending on what the algorithm decides to show you. Now, here's something even more disturbing to think about. Could social media platforms actually fuel a future civil war? Well, it's not hard to imagine when social media algorithms keep feeding people content that confirms their worst fears and stokes their anger, their emotions. They can boil over. And if people start to believe they're in for a battle, well, it's not a big leap to imagine that some might act on those beliefs. I mean, look at the Capitol riots. Social media played a role in pushing people to the edge. What if platforms continue down this path unchecked? Could social media actually become a driving force behind future conflicts? I mean, it's a chilling thought, but one worth considering. Do you think social media could contribute to future civil unrest? I mean, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Yeah, I want to hear from you. So, should social media platforms label misinformation, or should users be left to figure it out on their own, even though they're being manipulated? I don't know. On one hand, labeling misinformation helps prevent falsehoods from spreading. But if platforms flag posts that contain inaccuracies, it gives users a chance to pause and question what they're seeing. In the case of public health, politics, or violence, these warnings can be crucial. But on the other hand, some argue that labeling content could lead to censorship. And who gets to decide what's true and what's not? If platforms start policing content, do they hold too much power over the flow of information? It's a tough balance. Free speech versus the responsibility to prevent harm. But with algorithms driving people deeper into echo chambers, there's a real question of how much harm is being done when misinformation spreads unchecked. I don't know. What do you think? If you're feeling like you're stuck in the algorithm's trap, well, here are a few steps to start breaking free. 1. Take small breaks. Reduce your screen time. Even a few minutes less each day can help weaken the habit. 2. You can curate your feed. Follow people and sources that challenge your views. Force the algorithm to show you diverse perspectives. 3. Turn off notifications. Those pings are designed to keep you hooked. Turning them off can give you some breathing space. And 4, fact check what you see. Before sharing, take a moment to verify the information with reliable sources. 5, talk to people in real life. Real face-to-face conversations are more nuanced and thoughtful than what happens in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching. If this video has given you a new perspective, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Really, share this with someone you care about. So here are those videos that I mentioned before that I think you should watch. And I've linked them in the video description. Don't forget to check the research guide in the video description as well if you want to take a deeper dive into how social media impacts perceptions. Until next time, let's keep questioning the feed, broadening our perspectives, and finding a healthier way to connect with the world around us. Until next time, see ya!